And I was invited here by Miss April I've been here before. I've spoken with Diva Girl before. I did meet April at an event that I spoke at, the New Jersey Women's Expo, 2 years ago. Was that 2 years ago? 2 years ago. I'm a published author. I'm a self-published author. I also have a nonprofit organization called Precious Little Ladies Incorporated. I am a public speaker. I am in media. I hold 2 bachelor's degrees, one in broadcast journalism and the other one in media productions. And I have a radio show on a network called WZYE. It's a local community station in Essex County. And I am currently a partner for an organization that is developing an internet radio station. So I'm very active. On top of those things, those professional things that I do, I'm also a mother. I have 5 children. I'm a single mother, which comes with its own stuff. I am a recent college graduate. I only got my bachelor's degrees last year. I was homeschooled. And I put myself through college at 35 years old. I'm now, light shining in my face, right? I'm now 42. So I have done all of this. After being what I called held back for the earlier part of my life. When I was 8 years old, my father started molesting me, and by the time I was 15, he was raping me on a regular basis, and I got pregnant with my first child for him. So my first 4 children are actually for my father. Moncho is one of them. She's my second oldest. My eldest is now 25. My son, who is 20, well, he's going to be 20. He goes to William Patterson University. And my last daughter from my father died in 2010. So I want to play for you a little clip. I was recently featured on Investigation Discovery on a show called Evil Lives Here. So it's just a little visual representation. Let me see. No, that's not it. Wait a minute. So I dance a lot. I dance a lot.
This is a good one.
I was trained, coming up when I was little, I was trained in traditional African dancing. But honestly, even going through the abuse that I suffered, music and dancing was a lifesaver in my
experience. I sat in front of the TV to watch Reading Rainbow.
Let me start over. It's a very short clip, it's less than a minute.
I sat them in front of the TV to watch Reading Rainbow. And I went and I packed up a bag and decided that I was going to sneak out of the house. And I make my way to the front door, and then I turned around because I heard something. And it turned out that my brother and my sisters had followed me.
Aziza, where are you going?
And I said, I have to leave. I can't stay here. And he says, well, can we come with you? And I says, no, you have to stay here with mommy and daddy. And then one of my sisters started crying.
What's gonna happen to us?
And then he says, well, if you leave, then who?
Okay. So that aired earlier this year on actually my eldest daughter's birthday. And since it aired, the organization has received requests for services from all over the world. I do a question and answer section whenever I give a talk, because I find that the best way to kind of speak to an audience and kind of know what to talk about is for them to answer questions. But we're in Domestic Violence Awareness Month. And there was another clip actually I'm gonna play, where I want to talk about the impacts of domestic violence. And as it pertains to me, this kind of abuse can be so debilitating that you really can't get anything done. It affects your work, it affects your relationships, it affects your life in general. It has its Physical impacts, I grew up with asthma, and then my father, he did not believe in Western medicine. So I literally just would suffer from time to time when I had an asthma attack and be bedridden for days because I wasn't getting enough oxygen to actually move around or do anything. My father was also very abusive. He was controlling spiritually. He abused my mother. She was in the house. She knew what was going on the entire time. And he didn't respect any kind of authority over him. He had friends in the police department. I grew up believing that he was basically all powerful. And when I tried to convince my mother at different times we should escape, she didn't know where to go. She didn't believe he was the breadwinner, so she didn't believe that she had the ability to take care of us financially. And these experiences is what led me to start my organization, Precious Little Ladies. So literally, the mission is to strengthen the bond between mothers and daughters, to combat child molestation, domestic violence, incestuous abuse, and sexual assault. My relationship with my mother was so impactful on my life, and even the abuse continuing. That's why I felt that I should really focus on teaching people how to build a relationship with their children and how important it is